This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 54 of Healthy Critters Radio on the Horse Radio Network. Healthy Critters Radio is brought to you by Biostar US. Find them online at biostarus.com.
On today's show, we ask, are we breeding better horses in the 21st century? Tigapedia focuses on cold weather tips for horses. Critter Nutrition is foods that support the immune system. And in Coffee Klatch, we choose which animal we'd like to reincarnate into. Join us! Well, I'm down in Wellington.
Yes, you are.
And I'm getting ready for one of the biggest milestones in my life.
And that would be she's pregnant at the age. No. Kidding. It's your birthday, isn't it?
65.
Well, you know what I said.
Welcome to Medicare.
Yeah. Well, you remember what I've always said to you? You're so immature, it's hard to believe you're over 50.
So you know what I'm doing this year?
What are you doing?
65th?
What?
I am doing a Seeds for Kindness trunk show.
That's cool.
So I have, Seeds for Kindness is a branch of Biostar that supports environmental causes. So I have these products coming down and I'm setting it up on the dining room table, and I've invited friends and clients to come and go shopping and support American forests because they want to plant 2 million trees in 2018. And in light of the mudslides in California, planting more trees is going to be a really good thing to do. And, have champagne and food and shop. Wow. And support the environment.
I think that's just fabulous.
I wish you were coming.
I know. When is it?
Sunday.
This next Sunday?
This coming Sunday.
Yeah. I'll pack. I'll pack.
Would you come?
Oh, if I did, believe it or not, I have a horse show this weekend. But yes, I would have come.
Damn.
I know. You just never know with me.
Daughter and everything.
I know. You just never know with me.
When are you done with the horse show?
Well, I don't know. Probably. I don't know. But we can talk about that. I don't know when I'm done. I mean, probably relatively late, like 3:00.
You could catch a flight and be here in time for.
I have a feeling the champagne would be gone, and that may be a deal breaker for me. No. All right, you know what you're going to have to do? You're going to have to just take some pictures and post it on Healthy Critters Facebook page so everybody can see all the stuff that you're doing.
That's a great idea, because really Seeds for Kindness is sort of like my baby.
Yep, and giving back.
And finding these products from these innovative little artists who take stuff that would be in the landfill and end up in the ocean and turn them into it's truly amazing. So that's what I'm up to, and that's how I'm going to bring in my 65th oh my god, I can't believe I'm this old year.
I think it's awesome. You are inspiring so much that way. I think that's great. Well, I'm going to look forward to the pictures.
Okay. So this morning I was at a big thoroughbred training center, Palm Meadows in South Florida. And I'm on the backside with a trainer, does a lot of claiming horses, and the assistant trainer. And we were talking about race horses, and the assistant trainer worked for some trainers at Belmont and Aqueduct back in the 80s. Mm. And I said, boy, horses have really changed since then. And he said, they have changed so much. They're not nearly as sound, and we have more bleeders than we've ever had.
Interesting.
And I thought, What a great topic to discuss. Because also on Facebook recently was a German woman who has been studying dressage horses. And dressage horses used to be like rectangles, right? Instead of a longer body. But now we're breeding for these really long legs and short backs. And it creates a lot of instability. The horses can't sit as well because the alignment of their hip and stifle and hock, rather than being a rectangle, which is supported by, the muscles on the top line, is now, for lack of a better scientific word, squished.
Interesting.
So I thought this would be a
squished. I like that. That's going to be in the vet manuals in 2020. Yeah,
that's the technical term.
Yeah.
That have you all noticed changes in breeding, that some of which are great because you've got these incredible moving horses, and some that are problematic, like more bleeders and racehorses, and way less sound, according to this assistant trainer. Break down way faster.
I think the biggest thing that I noticed is that all the breeding programs, and I'm going to say this and I realize what I'm saying, but is that they're just always breeding for the next Belegro or the next Totalist. So and a lot of these horses, their personalities and their temperaments just aren't as good as they used to. We have so many horses that are so much more flighty, and you've got to, like, you use the Jazz breeding, for example, super unbelievable athletic horses. I mean, they're a blast to ride when they're 13 and 14. You know what I mean? And, they're just so hot and crazy. It's not, and to me, that's not what the sport is about. It's about getting on something has a little life to it, that definitely has a life and the idea to go forward and all of that, but that is calm in his mind and wants to do his job because it's relaxing and fun to do, not because they need to burn energy. You know what I mean? And I think that's the biggest thing that I don't like with some of these fantastic moving horses. And the other thing is I love that there's fantastic moving horses. I love that. But also there's part of the training, takes average moving horses with 3 very good gaits, and then you make them fantastic. So, I mean, and I understand why. That's why I'm saying to you, I understand why they do this, but I also feel like they're breeding that type of quality. And there are probably more amazing, just basic foals. Like when you see some of those foals move that way, you just wonder, wonder how many of those things stay sound. They're moving outside their own balance. And that is kind of between that and where they are mentally, that's what concerns me, because I feel like, the average person that makes up this sport is amateur, right? And I think everybody's, and I think there's definitely some very conscientious breeders out there that are definitely breeding for, the things that we're talking about on a lower scale. But I think when you look at the large scale, those are the things that truly bother me.
Jennifer?
Yes, I had myself on mute. I was absorbed. I was absorbed. I think I tend to agree. I think it's one of those chicken or the egg things. Are the horses we are seeing produced now the result of market and judging influences, or is the judging reflecting what we're producing? I think it's the other way around. I think it's a case of we're producing horses with astounding eye-popping movement for the dressage industry, because fancier movement is more rewarded than obedience. Am I kind of on the right track in many cases? Now, my life when it comes to dressage is at a much lower level than yours is, Patty, but that seems to be the trend. Now, when you look at racing, we're looking at horses who can be precocious youngsters, win like crazy and win $10 million in 9 races, having raced 9 times. So we are not breeding for longevity or soundness. We are breeding for speed.
Yep.
I'm sorry, but nobody's willing to admit it. But in my opinion, the bleeder problem has a significant genetic component, in my personal opinion.
You know what? That's what this assistant trainer brought up. He said they're breeding mares who are bleeders.
Well, they're breeding stallions who are bleeders too. Hello. It affects both sexes.
he wasn't excluding stallions, but his point was that 30 years ago, mares that were bleeders and stallions that were bleeders would be excluded.
Well, particularly in the stallion department, they may have been excluded. Yes. If you're a stallion who wins the Triple Crown, it doesn't matter how much of a bleeder you are, you're going to go to the breeding shed.
Right.
But
right.
I think because of the universal use of Lasix in American racing,
yep.
we have genuinely done ourselves a disservice, and we're going to have to dig ourselves out of a hole. Yeah. But I don't think the thoroughbred and racing is the only discipline or breed that has fallen into that hole. I think there's a lot of others too.
Think it's, absolutely.
That we've shortchanged ourselves because of short-term gain, because we've got breeders and competitors at the top of the heap who are able to make a good living, and it's not easy to do in the horse business no matter who you are. But then we've also got, now we're going to pay for it, a generation or three later. So I would tend to agree that most breeds that are popular, that have high registrations every year and are continuing to grow, they've all got their own ghosts in their closets.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And half a dozen generations later, they figure it out, and then the judging has to stop rewarding some of those traits, because oftentimes the weaknesses are also associated with desirable traits. They often are together, and that's how we end up with them.
Yeah.
So they have to figure out a way to stop rewarding those desirable traits without looking like, oh, by the way, you have to save face. So yeah, I absolutely agree with him that we have a tendency to have a very short-term view when it comes to breeding our horses.
Yes. Yeah.
Isn't that a light and lively and inspiring discussion?
Well, I think that there's a lot of people out there that don't know. There's a lot of people that don't understand that, if you're not training horses and you buy a horse and you deal with it, that's just one horse one-on-one. But as a trainer, you get to a point where you're like, oh gosh, I don't like that bloodline so much. They can be really hot, or, you avoid it because of the crossings. And I know that's how you end up getting the crosses that you like and finding out if a stallion is a good stallion to, seek for the bloodlines. But, it's just, I think it's kind of a double-edged sword, because you have to breed and do these different things to see where it's going to go genetically and what makes this
right.
But I think that they've been so singly focused on the performance and being rewarded in the ring, which obviously is the name of the game, and there's no way around that. But they've gotten so away from that video of Klimka on Alaric has been circulating recently, and that was a horse. Horse did everything, incredibly evenly, quietly. He was just sitting there and, whatever, no big deal. And yes, you can see some of that today, but there's a lot of not that today, and they're winning and doing well.
When I was in Holland training in 1997, I was on a sort of a party bus with a whole bunch of crazy Dutch riders and trainers. And there were some breeders on board, and they were talking about the disturbing trend of breeding for dressage horses, breeding for jumping horses.
Yes, the specialization. Yes.
And I think there were 2 or 3 of these guys, and they were all lamenting this. They really thought that was a bad direction to specialize, to breed a dressage horse with a dressage horse lineage. That the real athletes come from the blend of Celle Francais and show jumpers, and that's what makes a great athlete.
Which is easy to say on paper, but then you have the pressure of the real world economics.
Right.
Is a breeder
up until 20 years ago or 25 years ago, dressage horses were not the result of dressage breeding. They are now, but they didn't used to be. You'd find Celle Francais and Hanoverian and Oldenburg bloodlines. You'd find thoroughbred. You'd find Holsteiner and Dutch. and those are more, what do I want to say? Most thoroughbreds are really good jumpers. They're not, what we think of classically as great dressage horses. So now, in the last 20 years, we go to dressage lines, stallions and mare lines that we know produce dressage horses, and so many, stallions that have passed this 100-day test, or the stallion qualifying, and how many won in the FEI 5-year-olds and 4-year-olds and blah, blah, blah. And it wasn't that long ago where that wasn't the case.
Mm-hmm.
Well, again, economics plays a part here, because if we were to step outside the dressage community, let's say you have, in the quarter horse business, you're going to cross horses who are winning at Western Pleasure with other horses that win at Western Pleasure, because you're looking for a very specific phenotype there. You want a horse that moves a certain way, right, and has a certain personality traits that are going to win for you. And when you go to market that horse, because as a breeder, what is your number one job to do? Your number one job is to sell those babies, because if you don't, you're not going to be a breeder very long, right? So when you go to market that baby, when you say, well, this foal right here is sired by world champion Western Pleasure horse X, and the mare is 3-time state champion mare Y in the same discipline, that's a foal. You have no performance record to say that she's going to perform well, that foal. But when you say mommy and daddy have won multiple times at that exact same sport,
mm-hmm,
that's a lot more marketable a foal than the one that says, the mare was a champion barrel racer, but she's got the right body type. But the stallion was a champion Western Pleasure horse. Not so marketable. So we've got those market pressures there from the breeders for the breeders.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm not saying it's great and it's good for the breed as a whole, but it's the real world, right?
Mm-hmm.
As a breeder, I'm going to breed to create a foal that is marketable on paper as well as in person.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Sad but true.
Sad but true.
There we go.
And I think this is probably a lifelong thing, as each generation of new type of horse comes into play. It's, people will probably have the same discussion,
Yeah. And the movement that is winning now in any discipline, the body shape and the movement that is winning today will not be the same body shape and movement that's going to win from 20 years from now. If you look at old movies of champion dressage horses, champion Western Pleasure horses, champion show hunters, you go to any discipline and look at the champions from 50 years ago, the body type and the movement are different. It continues to evolve.
Yeah.
So it's a case of every few generations, whatever discipline it is, kind of has a light bulb moment and says, oh, we need to change things a little bit, because we've gone and rewarded some genetics that are not good for our breed. There's some weakness there, and it's attached to this trait, and let's start to move away from it. And that's when you see it change. It will change to some other type of movement that's popular because they needed to move away from those genetics. And it's just natural. Now, when you get to the point of, for example, in the thoroughbred business, okay, we're breeding these horses that have a genuine issue that needs to be medically supported, you better stand up and take care of that. The same thing happened with the quarter horses generations ago with the impressive bloodlines. Once they figured out where the problem was, they went, okay, we need to fix that. Yeah. But it's not always that simple. You can't always get a genetic marker for it. You need to just stand up and take that. There's not a simple answer. It's just a case of, as a breeder, to create that balance of the marketable foal that can be true to its long-term legacy. Each one of those foals has the potential to pass on his own genetics. So resist the temptation to make marketable foals over foals that are going to do the breed good in the long term, I guess.
Yeah.
It's easy for me to say. I'm not a breeder.
Well, yeah, and I think, like I said, I think this is a thing that happens, as each stage evolves into the progression of how each discipline goes.
Mhm.
And maybe it comes back full circle again, because there's going to be that one horse that ends up making it that's going to be real old style again, and then they're going to
Yes.
start breeding for that again.
Yes, precisely. Exactly. It'll change again, and then we'll look back at those videos 30 years from now and go, "Oh yeah, why did we like that so much?"
It's the same thing with hot dogs. Okay, remember how you're not supposed to eat hot dogs? They're going to come back. They're going to say they're
That's
healthy
right.
for you. I guarantee you.
Absolutely.
Maybe not hot dogs, but you get my point.
Absolutely. Well, you can have yourself your tofu dog, right?
Yeah.
That's your currently stylish dog is tofu.
Yeah. There you go.
There you go.
Interesting topic.
Hmm.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Hetty.
I don't know why you say goodbye. I say hello.
Oh my gosh.
So I have to tell you all a funny Hedwig story. I was sitting on the bed of her servant with Hedwig and her sister and her brother. And I reached over to touch Hedwig.
Don't touch me.
And she said, hashtag me too.
Hashtag me too, Freebird.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, when a little dog says that to you,
Yeah.
it changes you somehow.
I did. Yeah. Well, I
Change
it
your
would.
ways.
I think that's a great idea.
So, Patty, do you have a question for Hedwig today? Hashtag me too.
I thought Hedwig was telling us a story today.
I have a story.
Okay.
You do have a story?
I do. I have a story.
Do you want to start out with announcing who your favorite person is first, or?
My favorite person is Patty P.
Okay.
Let me tell my story.
Okay. All
Okay.
right. Go ahead.
My narrative.
Your narrative. Okay. I want to hear it.
So, as you may know, we journeyed to Florida since last time we spoke. It was a very long drive, very bad drive, lots of ice, whatever. And then we got here, everything was fine, and then the horses came, and that was less good, but they are here, and I guess that's nice. And then my servant, she got very sick, and she was even hallucinating, and one night there was a polar bear, but there was no polar bear. Anyway, what I realized in the midst of this is nobody knew my other servant's phone number, and I had no means of communicating it to Hill or to Alana, both of whom are no doubt nice people, but not staff material. And so the servant woke up from her deep nap / hallucinatory coma. I told her she had to right away, right now, get that number out. And I realized again that it is useless to have my servant's number on my collar, because whenever am I separated from my servant, that would be a failure of task. And so she would be fired, and I would not want her number. But I think the other servant should have her number on my collar in case of emergency.
So that you can be taken care of.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, that just was clarifying. Okay, exactly. Okay.
Yeah, Hedwig walks through the house and chants the number of the other servant to me.
Oh, she does.
Yes.
So you have it now.
No, I haven't written it down.
Don't tell her that.
But I told her where to find it in the phone, too. It's very rude that small dogs cannot use smartphones.
Well, maybe they'll come up with it. Maybe that's something that you can invent.
I have already invented enough things.
It could be a puppy PDA.
I am currently working on a Supreme Court decision on the Muslim ban. You're going to love this one.
Oh, no. You're busy.
I am incredibly busy, and I just don't have time to have no staff.
No, yes.
Of course.
I understand that. And
Well,
you know
we're
what?
very glad. We're very
Thank-
glad your staff is feeling better.
And thank goodness that Tigger's there to be an add-in staff person.
No, completely useless. I'm sorry. She's just not adequate. So she's
Oh.
going to have to call the other person.
Gotcha. Tigger, you're writing this down, right?
Yeah. I've got all the directions. Call other servant.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep. Check.
Refer to her
Check.
as other.
I know.
Okay.
All right,
Got it.
Hetty. I know
Well,
you're
thanks,
going
Hetty.
to the movies.
Yes, I'm going to
Oh.
enjoy my show.
Okay. Enjoy your show, Hetty.
Bye,
Have-
Hetty.
Bye.
So we're now at the Tigopedia portion of our show, and I always like to ask questions that sort of are in lieu of what's going on immediately in my life, which would at the moment be an ice storm. Yes, in Houston. The zombies are coming next, just so you guys know. So, Tigger, what I know a lot of listeners, ask that I get a lot of people that ask me this question, and I think it's such a good question to present is when weather gets like this, and this is an unusually cold snap, but up in Virginia, as you know, it gets very cold and stays cold for a while. And people ask a lot, do I warm the horses' drinking water to make them drink? Your thoughts?
Yes. And somebody turned me on to this product called Wild Angel Cozy.
Oh, okay.
And it's like a down jacket for a bucket.
Oh,
It's really cool.
it's called what?
Wild
Yeah.
Angel
Huh?
Cozy.
Okay.
COZY.
Okay. All right. And what does that do?
It keeps the water warmer, or from let's put it this way, it keeps it from freezing
Okay.
longer than just a plain bucket. Now
Right.
there've been, bucket heaters have been out for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But we all
Um,
know the fear with those,
Exactly.
which is for the listeners who are going, what is it? What is it? Is that there's always risk of fire with anything like that. People can
Yeah.
put, and what a water heater is something, it looks like a coil, you plug it into a wall, and it obviously only does one bucket at a time.
Correct.
And they do work, but you cannot leave it alone. If there's no
No.
water in it, you could burn the plastic.
Yeah.
If there, there's tons of things that can go wrong, as there are with many things, but that's just something we should always be very cognizant of. But I just looked up these cozies, and they look awesome. They just
Sure.
wrap around.
Exactly. They just wrap around the bucket.
Interesting. Cool. That's a great idea. Because and I've done a little research myself, just reading on this. They say, when it gets to a certain, and the biggest fear is obviously when it gets cold, is having horses shut down and not drink as much. So
Yeah.
another thing that I have always been told to do by our very good friend Dr. Ober was add a little salt to their existing food if they don't already get
Yeah.
it, to just encourage them to continue to drink. So that's also a good thing to do. And he just always said, put a little pinch of salt in your hand. My horses already get salt, so I always feel like they're covered. But the other question, Tigger, that I thought was a good question to ask is, in up north, way up north, there's a lot of these heated barns. Now, obviously, if you're in a heated barn, that's going to help the water. But what do you think about that? What do you think about barns that are heated for horses and then have to leave the barn and go out and work?
I have mixed feelings about it. If the barn is kept too warm, I think that it's a real disadvantage to a horse to then leave the warm barn and get plunged into 20-degree weather.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So I think warm barns are really for the benefit of the humans.
Yeah, I think they are too.
Because horses.
Let's hear it for human benefits. Woohoo!
Yeah. as I'm sitting in my PJs, not going outside all day. Yes.
Unless it's like 20 below zero or like this winter with so many parts of the country have just stayed super, super cold for a very long time.
Yeah.
But a general, normal winter where in cold places it's, 20s and 30s, I think horses do quite well in that, even living outside with shelter.
Yeah.
I think the heat is more of a problem for a lot of horses. The high 90s and 100-degree temperatures, that's harder on them than the cold. So I'm not a big fan of heated barns. I am a fan of heated tack rooms, though.
Yeah, and heated bathrooms.
And
those
heated
are,
bathrooms.
Yeah,
those
they
those
make
would
me
be
happy.
the very things that you need to have heated.
Well, these are all great things to think about. And if anybody else has anything to chime in, you can always put it on our Facebook.
Heat your bits.
Oh, yeah, that's a good. And any tips like this, heat your bits. I think that's a good thing. Don't heat it. Don't do warm water and then go out, because that's a little bit of a because I've done that. But and I always put them in my hand, and make them nice.
I put them in my coat and keep them, work them with my gloves in my coat so that they get, you're not putting a piece of ice into your horse's mouth.
Right.
That's
which is
really not nice.
which is not very nice.
No.
Yeah. Well, good. I think these are all good tips and good things. And if anybody has any other tips, you can always go where, Tigger? Where can they go?
Biostarus.com.
And they can put up their tips on our Facebook page.
Healthy Critters Radio. And now we're at Critter Nutrition, and I'm going to talk about foods that support the immune system. With wintertime upon us, it's a very active flu season as well. There are specific foods that will support your horse's immune system, your dog's immune system, and yours as well. The base of an immune diet for me is bovine colostrum. This food provides 80 different immune factors, including the immunoglobulins IgA and IgG, and specific peptides that regulate the thymus gland, which is the master of the immune system. Coconut oil is an important part of immune diet because the lauric acid in coconut supports the immune system and provides antiviral properties. The seat of the immune system is the GI tract, so probiotics are very important. Yogurt is a convenient food for one strain of beneficial bacteria, which is L. acidophilus. Yet because the microbiome has so many different strains, it could be more beneficial to use a multi-strain probiotic. Certain probiotics can decrease toxin gene expression and toxin production by specific bacteria, including Salmonella, E. coli, and C. pepperins. Other probiotic strains, such as Aspergillosis, release a protease that can digest C. difficile toxins. Other probiotic strains, such as L. rhamnosus, can bind to toxins and decrease their bioavailability to the host. Shilajit, with its fulvic and humic acids, supports the mitochondria of the cells to produce ATP and CoQ10. The mitochondria are responsible for cellular respiration, generating energy for cell division and growth. They're often referred to as the energy currency of the body. When the immune system is under attack, the body feels like it's running out of energy. Shilajit can help restore higher amounts of the much-needed energy currency. Antioxidants are another important component. Whole oranges, ground up in a food processor for the horses and dogs, provide not only vitamin C, but the important bioflavonoids, including quercetin. Bioflavonoids can work as natural antihistamines. Other good sources of vitamin C include papaya, strawberries, kiwi fruit, and broccoli. Go for foods high in vitamin E, such as camelina oil, almonds, and sunflower seeds. Astaxanthin, a red algae, is a super antioxidant, more powerful than vitamin C, vitamin E, and resveratrol. Turmeric is another antioxidant-laden food that helps regulate inflammation. Remember, inflammation is part of the body's immune system response. Chronic inflammation, however, leads to a weakened immune system. By reducing inflammation, turmeric can help restore balance. Immune support for horses. Bovine colostrum, coconut, either Cool Stance or Renew Gold or straight coconut oil. For probiotics, either Biostar's Bioflora or Biostar's BioYeast. Antioxidants, whole oranges or papaya, strawberries, kiwi fruit, Additional vitamin E can be given from camelina oil, almonds, or sunflower seeds. Astaxanthin can be found in Biostar's Locomotion and Biostar's Quantum supplements. Shilajit can be found in Biostar's Impulsion and Quantum formulas. Turmeric, either Biostar's Comfort Zone or Stance Equine's Turmerical. For easy keepers and metabolic horses, rather than using oranges and papayas, I will give a quarter cup of chopped parsley or chopped kale twice a day, which provides vitamin C from a non-fruit source. Immune support for dogs. Bovine colostrum, coconut oil, probiotics, Biostar's Terra Biota, antioxidants, apple slices, kiwi mixed in food, camelina oil. Astaxanthin can be found in Biostar's Astaxan 14. Shilajit can be found in Biostar's Juvenate. Turmeric, either Biostar's Comfort Zone or Astaxan 14 or Stance Equine Turmerical. Immune support for humans. Bovine colostrum, coconut oil, probiotics. I prefer Garden of Life, which is a multi-strain formula available at most health food stores. Antioxidants, fruits and veggies, camelina oil, almonds, sunflower seeds. Fresh squeezed orange juice is preferable over grocery store orange juice. Astaxanthin in capsules, either my favorite is Bioastin by Nutrix Hawaii. Shilajit from Life Extensions, super ubiquinol with enhanced mitochondrial support. And turmeric, I like New Chapter's Fermented Turmeric Booster Powder or New Chapter's Turmeric Force or Organic India's turmeric and ginger tea. Tigger's Immune Support Soup for dogs and humans. I make this for myself and the dogs. It is vegetarian, but if you are not a vegetarian, you could add some organic bison or organic chicken to the soup. I feed 5 Aussies, so I have to make quite a large batch. If you are feeding 1 or 2 dogs, you can always freeze the soup and take it out when needed. I use a slow cooker. Fill half the slow cooker with water. Add chopped celery, carrots, broccoli, sweet potatoes, green beans, winter squash, and a chopped apple. Add 1/2 teaspoon of dry organic rosemary and 1 teaspoon of dry organic basil. Cook on low 2 to 4 hours. As the soup is cooling, you can add some coconut milk for a thicker soup. Squeeze half a lemon into the soup to freshen up the flavors. I'll add some chia seeds too. I like to sprinkle cinnamon as the soup is cooling because cinnamon is another excellent source of antioxidants. I add the soup to the dog's food and then add some sprouts, either alfalfa or broccoli, and mix it all together. The sprouts are a great source of enzymes and chlorophyll. After I have divided the soup into for the dog's portion and for me portion, I add some chopped garlic to my soup and sometimes a little lemongrass or mint leaves and sprinkle with some classic gluten-free croutons. Feed the immune system and enjoy good health for your family, your horses, and your dogs.
Real horses and real dogs are healthier, perform better, and recover more quickly on real food. That's why Biostar empowers horse and canine owners with 100% whole food nutrition, supplements, and feeding programs. Biostar products are made at their own certified non-GMO facility in Gordonsville, Virginia, using real food ingredients that are raw, freeze-dried, or dehydrated, never cooked, and are free from artificial flavors, colors, soy, corn, wheat, and molasses. The Biostar product line includes a wide range of whole food, horse and dog supplements, treats, and unique artisan poultices that embrace the ancient and traditional uses of clay and plants. Visit biostarus.com today and learn about whole foods and canine and equine nutrition so you can make the best decisions about the care and health of your horses and dogs. That's biostarus.com. Whole food nutrition the way nature intended.
I was listening to a PBS the other day, and they had these 2 crazy women on who were doing a skit about when you die and you get to the other side, and then you're given a choice. And in this skit, you were given a choice of 3 animals. You could come back as a squirrel, you could come back as a marmot, or you could come back as a bee. And it was very funny and very clever. And I was thinking about it and I thought, What if you had a wide open choice of what animal to come back to as, what would it be? So that's our coffee clutch today.
All right. I like it. It's deep.
It's deep.
It's deep. So Tiggy, let's make Jennifer go first.
You guys
Okay.
always do this to me.
It's kind of fun though, because because you're so cute, because you don't expect it and you trust us so much, and then we do it every time.
And you're mean.
We're the mean sisters. But the thing is though, you always say
always
something.
come through
Yes.
in the clutch.
And it's always something really good, and then I go, I'm
Really
changing my
good.
answer. I'm changing my answer. Okay.
I think I would like to come back as a parrot, an Amazon
Ooh.
parrot.
Ooh, if there's still an Amazon left.
Well, neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Or
A
I could be a
big one
cockatoo.
or a
I could be a
big red-
cockatoo as well. Maybe a cockatoo.
They're
Yeah,
so
a cockatoo,
cute.
because they have a little more attitude.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, I'm coming back as a cockatoo.
So
Okay.
I've
why?
decided. Longevity. They get to live a long time,
Yep,
Mhm.
that's true.
unlike your typical insect.
Yes.
They have adventurous lives. They're smart and they get to do things and discover things and figure things out. I like that.
And they get to talk.
And they get to talk.
Yeah.
And they're allowed to swear anytime they like and never get in trouble for it.
Wait a minute, I do that. Oh wait,
Yeah.
sorry.
But birds get to hang out in the sunshine and preen their feathers and absorb the sun, and have that chill moment. They can be chill.
And they get to dance.
And they can dance. They can ride little bicycles. I might get a job at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Always wanted to, be a Disney insider. That's popular. So yeah, I think I would be a cockatoo. Yes.
Okay.
And I get to break nuts and eat them.
These are all fabulous
And
reasons.
fruit. I love fruit. I get to eat
Yeah.
fruit too.
But
Or you
no
could just-
wine.
No wine.
No wine,
wine,
Jennifer.
No wine.
That's right. Yeah, that's not good.
Beer, maybe.
Beer. Okay, that's funny. So Tigger, how about you?
Oh, I want to come back as an orca.
Really?
Because they live in pods with their families and their friends, and they get to travel to these beautiful places like Alaska and cruise down to Hawaii, and they, they're very smart, and they communicate with sonar and vocals, and I like the way they solve problems. True, it's because they have to kill things to survive, but I just admire them so much, and I always wanted to be a pinto.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Oh, that's funny.
Okay,
Well,
Patty P.
Okay, so I have actually two, and my first one you'll completely understand. If I were to be reincarnated and come back, I'd want to come back as Hedwig. For the obvious reasons. I mean, even though she in her own mind thinks that the world is doing her a disservice, we all know that Hedwig actually has it pretty darn good, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that would be my first choice. Because I wouldn't mind knowing what it was like really seeing things from her perspective, even though she clearly tells us.
Yes.
But I'd like to see it maybe through her little puppy eyes for a moment.
Well, I think just to be served to the length that she is served would be a
Yes.
thrilling experience.
Yes, but she's always so disgusted with her servants. So
Yes,
I
never good.
but I just want to know if it's real, So, but I think if I was to come back as other than Hetty, I've always been so fascinated with by lions. And I realize that they lead such a hard existence. So I would want to come back as a wild but very well-fed one. That I don't have to work too hard to get food,
Would you be a lioness or a lion?
I think I'd be a lioness because I love the lions too. Because basically the lionesses still rule the lions. So I don't know. I just think they're,
And they
and
get
again,
to raise the cubs.
I know, and I love the little cubs, and I love their feet, but I like how they do things, community wise, within their pack. And I mean, I know it's a hard existence, as I guess any wild animal would be.
Interesting that you and I both chose pack
Mm-hmm.
animals that are
Yeah.
hunters, that are, feared.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know.
And
That's funny.
Jennifer
Wants to be in Disneyland.
Just trying to hedge my bets, man. Hedge my bets.
She wants to know that she.
I wanted to
gets
pick
her
something that
nuts
people
and
don't
her
want to
fruit.
eat or stuff and
Yeah.
put in their living room.
No,
Right.
she was really very wise, if you think about it.
way wiser than us.
Yeah, because I mean, chances are she will be served, right? Things for her would be good. Where you and I are basically just going to be struggling, all right? But yeah, that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
So let us know what animal you think you'd like to reincarnate, and
Absolutely.
go to healthycrittersradiowebsite.com.
Or you could just go to the Facebook
The
page. Healthy Critters-
Facebook page.
Healthy Critters Radio, and let us know what animal you'd come back as in your next life.
Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks to our sponsor, Biostar US. You can find them online at biostarus.com.
Get the Horse Radio Network phone app on iOS or Android by searching for Horse Radio Network in the App Store. It's free and easy to use.
For details about today's show, go to healthycrittersradio.com, where you can find links, photos, and more information about our guests.
As always, we love your feedback. Please follow us on Facebook under Healthy Critters Radio.
Be sure to visit all the great shows on Horse Radio Network at horseradionetwork.com.
Love your dog.
Hug your horse.
Feed your chickens.
Clean your litter box.
Dance with your goat.
Slither with your snakes.
Howl at the moon.
Hang with your hamster.
Party with your parrot.
Waddle with your walrus.
Outwit your otter.
Cuddle your cows.
Rap with your raptor.
Go chipping with your chipmunks.
Forgive your fox.
While hedging your hog.
We also recommend that you rack with your raccoon.
Gyrate with your giraffe.
Meditate with a meerkat.
Uber with your orangutan.
Facebook with your flamingo.
Ponder with your panda.
Walk with your Wookiee.
Yawn with your yak.
Twitter with your toucan.
Go raining with your reindeer.
Dropbox your dragon.